All right, welcome, everybody. It is the Finance Committee first, and then we're gonna have the Officers Committee afterwards, so we'll start with Finance. It is February 26th already, and I will do the roll call for the Finance Committee. Laura Bedford, Paulette Burdick, Tony Burrows here, Joanne Singshon, Whitney Courier here, Ruth Drees here, David Corness, Richard Handelsman
Here.
Regina Latore, Suzanne Saramac, Julia Silver, and Michael Zaslow.
Here.
Don't have a quorum, which is fine. It's an informational meeting anyway, unless you guys have something. I didn't anticipate needing a quorum today. Anyone who wants to can watch this. I'm gonna post it on the blog.
I will make a motion that we forego with the reading of the minutes because we don't have a quorum.
Yeah, but there's a little correction, minor,
There's a little correction.
minutes from 12/25/24, not 5. Second line up on top,
My
it says
apologies.
minutes from 12/25,
Okay,
that's all.
so we're a year in advance, so we'll go ahead and accept those as correct. And as for old business, I don't really have any, and nothing's really changed. We're still forging ahead on the North Canal. I think the latest is the sheriff has the notice and there's a period of time. So we're approaching it from two angles. We have the certificates and we have to wait 2 years. And rather than wait the 2 years, we went ahead and did our vegetation because we needed to do that for safety reasons. We couldn't wait for 2 years. We had to clear out some of that vegetation because it was interfering with our drainage. So we went ahead and did that and we submitted the paperwork. The attorney advised us to go ahead and submit the paperwork to get paid from the defunct companies, which obviously they're not gonna pay us. And so now we're foreclosing basically on the property. So we're gonna have it posted by the sheriff and then ask for it to be auctioned off. And for the cost of having the clearing done, we'll buy it. I assume. So there's really nothing going on there. You can all see what's going on the South Canal, and obviously Reflection Bay is part of that whole project, so I'm real happy to see the progress there personally.
Yeah.
I just think for all the work that this committee did and that, the officers did over the last couple of years to get that project going, I think it's wonderful. It's ugly right now, but it shows forward movement. It just, I think that once it's done, our whole neighborhood is gonna look just so much nicer. I just really think it's, cause I've seen D.R. Horton's homes and the way they do communities, I'm really looking forward to that project going on, so. Thank everybody for their patience, going into this whole venture with the South Canal and D.R. Horton and everything, so. New business, the only new business that
Meeting, it looks like they're in the office.
Joanne?
Yeah, we're here, us outside.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, we'll let you in.
Thank you very much. Okay,
Hang up.
great. Yeah, we're 2 minutes late. Thank you very much. Great.
So the only.
Would you try to call?
Yeah. You're bouncing around. There you go. Thank you. Who's signing this? Excuse me. Who's signing this? I said, could you, maybe you sign it first. Sure doesn't matter. The only new business that I wanted to talk about, well, two things. First is, attached is the December, it's actually the delegate package that was sent out, with the last delegate assembly meeting. It's the December financial statement, and Chris is on with us if anyone has any questions. This is the same financial statement that's been there for the last couple weeks, so. I don't see anything wrong with it. We're going, Chris today sent it out for our audit to begin. And I don't know, Chris, did you have any comments that you wanted to make about this particular, because this budget basically wasn't ours, it was sort of the last vestiges of the old sort of regime.
Correct, and that accounts for the deficit. Everything that is over is something that we've accounted for in this year's budget and will get even better in next year's budget. And then we should really have our baseline back. So yeah, if you look at the bottom of the P&L, we did have a deficit at the end of the year, but that was just due to the budget process from the prior years.
It was just an accumulation of stuff. But so unless anybody has any comments about the budget, we're just gonna wait until the audit comes back and go from there. The only other thing that I, as far as new business, wanted to sort of introduce is that at Fausto's meeting last week, Seacrest was present at the fourth the president meeting. You can see it on channel 591 every day at 3 o'clock. It's important to us that Seacrest showed up in great numbers. The president was there and the vice president and everyone that we deal with, because of this conversion to this new system. It has caused everybody untold amounts of aggravation that's dealing with Seacrest. They're straightening it out. I mean, it's, the system, when it's done, I was actually just logged into mine. I went into my own account. They took my payment out finally yesterday for the first time. So it's getting there. It's getting there. Now, Chris and I have not gone nuts with trying to get out an accounts receivable and trying to, because
This
it was right, Chris, we're right before it, we were good.
this month we will have an accurate accounts receivable. Seacrest has paid, all payments have been received and accounted for. Well, for the most part, they did have a couple that are paying by check. But yeah, last month's accounts receivable was a nightmare because it essentially showed almost every association owing.
Yeah.
So this month's accounts for the upcoming delegates assembly, the accounts receivable will be much more accurate, and I think it should be presented.
Okay, yeah, and I mean, if there's any, I think there's some confusion. I know that there's been a lot of talk, there are some associations that have unit owners that may be in arrears, and that's a subject of its own. UCO does not get involved in that process. It's a separate issue. So when I say we're in great shape accounts receivable wise, it's because the associations are paying us on time. We stay on top of it. We send dunning letters. Donald goes out and meets with them if necessary. I mean,
Call them Donning letters.
yeah, donning letters. So, that has been terrific because we had a couple $100,000 when I took over. So that, prior to them changing over their system, we were very clean. So hopefully we'll be back to that.
Chris, just to make you aware, I'm aware of 3 different new property management firms that have taken over associations for this quarter. One is called ACE The other is called Jilha, Jilha Investment. I don't know exactly how many they have each, or if they're one each, but I would imagine with this quarter's assessments, we're gonna need to have contacts with those,
You know, I was thinking about that. My sense is that we may need to put an administrative function in to check with the state of Florida to see who's the registered agent for our associations, because that's the only legitimate information.
right,
Now, what else
I,
we do?
I have a recommendation.
yeah.
So the insurance office, they seem to have a more updated list because they have to communicate with the property management companies in order to provide the insurance and get the payments for it.
Right.
If that is the case, that was my understanding, my recent understanding of that, that the property management companies reach out to the insurance office to make sure that they can get coverage, like proof of insurance and things like that. So they may have a more complete list than we have, and it would save us a lot of time trying to go on Sunbiz to figure out who the registered agent is, because that sometimes that only changes once a year.
And Chris, the registered agent isn't always the manager.
Correct. That is correct as well.
Sometimes it's, in many cases, Century Village, you won't know who the manager is by looking at Sunbiz. The president will make himself the registered agent.
Correct, or it'll be the law firm.
Yeah,
So, I mean, this will all work itself out, but they are out there, so sooner or later.
but it's becoming an issue at this point. It's changing, there's a lot of stuff going on.
And this is a pretty complicated little cuckoo clock we got going on here, so when there's new managers, they have to figure that all out. So I expect we'll hear from them at some point.
Yeah.
That's typically what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I just pointed out because administratively, we have to be on top of it. And it obviously is, you know, for finance reasons, we have to know where to send the bill and who to done when it doesn't get paid, so that's stuff.
Correct.
On Delegate Assembly Day, I will make an announcement that if you've changed management company, to please notify you, the treasurer, who the management company is, so we can send a bill to that. We'll
Right,
make it, it'll be on tape, and
right,
I'll also write in the paper, and Donald, you should write something too.
yeah, but if we,
So,
Concentrate
I mean,
on
we'll
that,
try
yeah.
to get it out. If you have a new company,
right,
please notify Joanne, because we need to know who to send the bill to.
right, and if we have a new accounts receivable listing for this coming delegate assembly, that way would kind of tie it together.
Right,
And as these new management companies contact Hugo, sooner or later they'll have to.
right.
We should, and it can be any of us, whoever makes the first contact, they should have a copy of our bilateral agreement.
Absolutely.
That'll cut a lot of confusion. I'm already starting to see that with some of these.
Yeah, yeah. So, that's it for the new business for me, Joanne?
So my question is, have we considered, I've spoken to you about this previously, Joanne. Have we considered switching banks or have we seen if other banks will give us more for any CDs that we have?
I have not considered switching banks because I don't see any reason to. Our bank has been fine. I don't have any complaint about it. And yes, I constantly look for a better, you know.
Well, I had given you some information that I stopped at the Chase Bank out on 441. And the man that I spoke to gave me a printout of what they would pay
Right,
for our investments. But you
Right.
have to have an account with them
right.
to take out their CDs. I don't know if you've had a chance to
And
look at it.
that, the thing is, if you switch, that's a whole other discussion.
Right,
If you switch banks, that's not easy. And with Chase, if you're going into a sweep account, it's a Cedars account and it's with JP Morgan. So
okay,
you're not doing business with a bank, you're doing business with a brokerage house,
okay.
which I feel is less secure. So I don't see a reason,
Isn't it guaranteed, aren't the CDs guaranteed like anybody else? Like any other CDs that we take out with Truist?
they are, but you're introducing a third party into your relationship with the money.
Well, Chase was one bank that I went to, but there's other,
There's
there's other
others. Yeah.
banks that may pay us more money. And I
I
don't
haven't
know if
found
it's,
one yet that I feel is as secure as our current bank.
And Mrs. Chuchan, there are plenty of banks that will give a higher rate on a
Right.
CD,
right,
but these are not top tier banks.
well, no, I'm talking,
These are, so,
sorry.
so again, we're gonna be very careful, while it's the purview of this committee to get the best return. We are not speculators. We're not here to, that's not our primary purpose here. Treasurer's job is to guard the treasure. And putting it in a top tier bank with, that doesn't have any relationships with brokerages and other speculative firms is one of the things that treasurer is supposed to be careful with.
I understand.
So
But
I
there are-
definitely see that connection with JP Morgan and
Well, I didn't realize that, and that's a good point. Are there other top tier banks though that we could investigate that don't have
I guess there
brokerage
are,
connections?
but right now, you would need a money manager, truthfully, to manage everything. Cause you can only do $250,000 per bank,
And well, don't they
unless you're in a
stack them?
sweep account.
Yeah, don't they stack them or whatever they do with
Sweep,
Truist?
it's called a sweep account or a Seegers account.
Yeah.
And Truist is the bank in this area that handles those type of transactions.
Nobody else does?
Not a bank, no,
Oh,
brokerages do,
so no other bank does?
Not that
Well, I
I'm
didn't know
aware of.
that.
yeah, no. So
Okay,
I keep looking, I mean,
Okay.
believe me, I'm, you know,
No,
I
I
wanna
didn't
earn
know
just
that.
as much as you do, but, you know, without getting out there. Now, what I was talking to Monica yesterday, cause she has branched out a little bit after we did our money market, she put some extra money market, cause she is a money manager, she does that full time.
who is that?
Monica Wells from WPRF, well,
Oh, okay.
Benison actually. So I was talking to her that I might share some of her contacts and maybe do one or two more money markets. Not to complicate Chris's life too much, but we've had great success with the one at Truist. And since some of our money is already through WPRF at a couple of other banks like Wells Fargo. So, you know, they're just checking accounts. They're not CDs, they're not, we can get, it's 100% liquid. You need the money, you'll have it overnight. I mean, you'll have it immediately.
You'll get better
So,
interest rate.
you know, but there again, it's an administrative burden to do that. So, you know, I think after the next delegate assembly, we'll go through a tranche of re-upping all the signatures on all the accounts. And maybe open one more. We did one last year, maybe we'll do one this year.
Didn't we ask we posed this question to a new accounting firm? That at one point they were going to give us maybe some leads
Yeah,
on
but they-
helping us with investment, but they have not gotten back to us. Okay,
They're not,
but we did ask, it's
Yeah,
not that
absolutely.
that didn't ask,
yes,
we
absolutely.
did ask.
Yeah, we're always looking for
And they haven't
ways to
got back to
improve.
you?
No, they got back to us,
Oh.
but you know, the answer is what I just said. You wanna take more risk?
Oh,
We
yeah.
can give you all
Yeah, I
kinds of
understand.
stuff, you
Thank
know,
you.
Richard?
Just this to head off, if you are buttonholed in a hallway. Any ad that you see in a newspaper from a bank that says 4 or 5%, read the fine print, it's for individual human beings,
Yeah,
not institutional or business.
you know, I mean, we keep looking, but we keep in mind, we are not for profit. And our job is to keep it safe and keep it secure. So that's my top priority.
Thank you.
I'm gonna spend some time trying to get a little bit more and a little bit more, but you know, I think we're doing the best we can with what we've got, so. That's it for me. Does anyone have anything else for the finance committee to consider?
Would you cover it?
Motion and we can conclude this meeting and Chris, I don't know, do you have anything else that you wanna talk about to finance? Oops, did we lose him?
He's not for lunch.
Done for us.
No, he's not, he's still there, he's just muted.
Notwithstanding, motion to adjourn.
But I was gonna ask a simple question. For the month of January, are we pretty much on budget on what we agreed to? Are we under budget or over budget?
I haven't actually looked yet,
Okay.
because we're getting ready for the audit.
Yeah.
So I haven't, I thought that's priority.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna look at the January and February numbers once that,
cause that would be good for the finance committee to know month to month if we're over budget,
Oh, yeah.
or under budget.
absolutely. Next month, we will catch up,
Right.
yeah, we're just a month behind because of that.
That's all right.
And Seacrest, we have
I-
Seacrest to thank for some of that, so.
We're not,
But I haven't seen any extraordinary items unless you have.
no, I haven't, so that, but that's why I'm asking, cause that's where it belongs in this committee
Yeah,
to make
yeah,
adjustments if that need be.
yeah, but right now, I'm, stay tuned, we'll see you all next month. Do we have a?
I move we adjourn.
Thank you.
Before we start the next meeting.
Sure.
And we'll take a 10-minute recess and then we'll do the officer.
Yeah,